But they can also be very deceiving, can't they? They can sell someone very short, their appearance. Or they can give someone credit for being more than they are. I think of all the economic experts that we have in America right now who talk on television, and their appearance is backed up by all their credentials. And some of these very high-powered and wonderful people ran Wall Street into the ground. And yet when we saw them in their appearance, we would say, ooh, this is a person who really knows. Appearances actually don't tell much of the story. And the story of Peter and Jackie that I read to you, for instance, think about Peter for a moment and engage your imagination. He grew up with love and understanding and trust. Imagine, what does Peter look like? If you close your eyes and you try to picture this Peter, what does he look like? Does he have long hair? Is he clean cut? Does he look grubby looking? Does he have any tattoos? He wants to do social work. So maybe he looks a little bit on the shabby side, so he kind of fits the mold of what a lot of social workers look like. You have a picture of Peter in your head. He may look like your own son, or maybe like yourself when you were younger if you're a man. We all have these ideas about how this person is supposed to look. And of course, Jackie maybe is a bit easier to imagine. She grew up in a harsh and brutal home and became an object of interest to men. Imagine, what does she look like? Is she neat and competent and looks like she's ready to sell real estate? Or is she sleazy? Does she look like a prostitute? And if she had tattoos, we wouldn't be surprised. We have a picture in our minds of these two people, and their appearance in our society means so much to us, even though it may not tell us anything about who they are. Appearances are emphasized in our culture. Let's face it, if it weren't for appearances, there wouldn't be any advertising, because they sell us on the idea of how we're going to look, not only with what we wear, but the appliances we have and the automobiles we drive, and on and on and on. And of course we know that it's so superficial and can be so damaging. Like the tobacco companies that pay thousands and millions of dollars to the movie industry so that in certain movies, the heroes or the villains or the people who make an impression on people who are in the audience are smokers. Because it's cool to smoke. Devastating idea. Perfectly legal, but devastating. There's almost a striving to be superficial and to be wrong. But appearances don't run deep. And depth, of all things in this world, more depth is what we need. The deep story holds the truth. Jackie and Peter are misunderstood. Jackie completely misunderstood, I think, until we hear this deeper story written by Brennan Manning. And Jesus contrasts appearances or conventions with this deeper story about human beings. Believing the message he talks about, John the Baptist brought this message about God and about the changes that really needed to take place. People didn't want to listen because John the Baptist's appearances were awful, for one thing. And the truth of the matter is that believing the message and seeing something new and following truth requires a willingness to go deeper and to go beyond what we know in life. And there needs to be some letting go of things, ideas that we have about people. One of the best examples of that, of need to let go, is when your children or children that are important to you bring home new dates, when they bring home boyfriends and girlfriends. I'm thinking especially about the Massatellis and the Fritchies right now, and Newton and some of the others, Paula. They bring home these dates, and you look at them, and that appearance runs a shock wave through you. That those of you who have done this before, and boy, I can feel it right now as I'm speaking. Dad, this is Jerry. And I want to say, get out right now, don't ever come back. I don't like the way Jerry looks. And then later on they say, I love him. So then you think to yourself, okay, I've got to let go, because I had a picture in my head of who Katie was going to bring home. I had a picture in my head who Mark was going to fall in love with. I had a picture in my head for each one of them. And this isn't the picture. But what picture did they have? And what is this person really like? And so my suspicions and my fears and my ideas about that, I have to let go of, because those ideas were wrong. And I have to seek out the truth of this new person. And that is true for us, not only in that situation, but in every situation of life, when we have to make big decisions, and when we have to move on in our lives, and when circumstances change. And in fact, when we are in a crisis, we are forced to think about, what do I have to let go of now? And how much deeper do I have to go in order to find the truth? And you and I, we try to put up a good appearance, but let's be honest, we are not always confident underneath. We go into a lot of situations, and our insecurities are rumbling around inside of us like crazy. And we are trying to put up a good appearance, and we are trying to muster all of our strength. And a lot of those old conventional ideas, and a lot of the old thinking, and a lot of the things which really aren't true for us anymore, we hold on to them because we feel like there's nothing else to hold on to. We are asked to work in the vineyard by God. And often we say yes, only because we're afraid to say no. Gee, if the pastor says this is something that needs to be done, or if the elders of the church and the council has decided on going this way, yes, maybe we need to do this, but I'm afraid to do it. I don't know how to do it. And when we're talking about working for God, let's be honest, most of us don't exactly know what that means. How do we do this? How do we use our gifts and our talents? Will it be okay if we don't do a great job? We're not all that talented. And is what I do enough? Is what I do enough for God? I'm afraid often to give myself over to God's work, because I wonder, will God accept me? And I don't know of any human being can say, that doesn't apply to me at all. I'm always confident about this stuff. Even with God, I have great confidence. I would say then we have slipped off into being a Pharisee. The fears and the suspicions that Jackie had when Peter showed he cared about her, it says she went through a torturous struggle. And I don't know about you, but if somebody says, okay, here's the door to a torturous struggle, go ahead in, I start backing up. But she went through the door. She went deeper. She made the leap and surrendered her heart in trust, we are told. And she found loving truth in Peter and about herself. About herself, I think, was much more important. And she said when she felt like she lost everything, she actually found everything. That is really the miracle of faith. And this is our story surely too. God's love and faithfulness is there for us no matter what our appearance, or no matter the times we've said, when God said, go work in the vineyard, we said, I don't think so, or I'm not sure, or I don't know. And God is still there for us. This is the God Jesus shows to us and asks us to surrender our lives in trust. Amen.